All right, let's get into some Alexander Usyk talk because I see it's making its rounds. And I knew it would. You know what I'm saying? It's only right that, you know, people had a conversation of where to place him. As far as the Ali comparison that's going around, you guys been on my channel long enough. You know what that is. I broke it down. Got a video on it. Why only European fighters are associated and mentioned with Muhammad Ali. I got the video for that, so that explains that. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tear Usyk down to make Ali look good, and I'm not going to tear Ali down to make Usyk look good. You know, that's the game that the boxing game want to play with you. You know, I'm not doing that for neither guy. But what I am going to do is, and it's the same thing in hip hop too. What I am going to do is show you how to properly place things and how to properly match people. Because even if y'all want to do this person versus this person, you guys are not even getting the comparisons right. You know, truthfully, you don't compare somebody like Usyk to a Ali. You just don't do it. Okay. What would be the equivalent or an equal match of comparing Usyk would be, you would compare him to who he idolized, and that was Evander Holyfield. So to me, the question would be, if you're going to question, is he greater than this guy? Is he greater than this guy? The first stop you got to make is comparing him to somebody that has done what he has done. And that is Evander Holyfield. You know, if you're going to do a comparison, to me, that makes more sense. But back to what I was saying, even with Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather controversy and the Sugar Ray Leonard controversy and stuff like that, you can't compare the fighters of the yesteryears to these present guys. And it's simply because of this. All right. If you do not see the presence of the rivals, let me say it loud. If you do not see the presence of the rivals of the people that you are comparing them to, then you cannot compare them. Did you follow me? Meaning, before you can compare somebody to an Ali, we must see a presence of a Joe Frazier. Who's been the second coming of Joe Frazier to us? We haven't seen him. Not in the heavyweight division. Who? Okay. Who would be the equivalent? I'm not talking about kind of like. I'm talking about on the level of or better of a threat of a George Foreman. Who? In boxing. Right. You haven't seen that again. Just like, I'm going to even do something lesser. Who would be the equivalent? Now, when I say equivalent, I'm saying equal or better of Roberto Duran. Who? We haven't seen it yet. The closest you could say is a Mike Tyson. But, you know, that the 90s is not really caught up into this. We talk about right now what we're dealing with. So if you don't see the rivals there, then you can't compare the fighters, because the fighters are made by the rivals in who they fight. And these guys have had some tough ass rivalries. Okay. These guys ain't no walk in the parks. You know what I'm saying? These guys wasn't just beating up on Mexicans and, you know what I'm saying, throwing their hands in the air, hollering, I'm the greatest and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? These guys really had to go through the field with it. So I can never, and I would never compare none of these guys, especially of today's era, to the past, because I love what Usyk did. And the crazy part is, some people even got upset at me because of the way I complimented Usyk. But I give credit where credit is due. If you're a person that can't handle that, I don't care what background you come from. If you can't handle that, then this ain't the place for you, because credit is going to get given no matter what a person looks like or where they come from. Y'all got to stop that. You know? But when it comes to Alexander Usyk is simply this. Alexander Usyk kicked and came up in the era of heavyweight boxing when it was at its softest. This is the softest heavyweight era we have ever seen in boxing. Let's not get that mistaken. And just because I say that, that don't take away from Usyk. Do you know why? And this is what I hate what people do. You know why? Because Usyk is only born when he's born. He can only fight who's here. He doesn't control who's born and his timeline of his life. He's dealing with and he's fighting the people that he got in his time. And as of the people that he has in his time, whether soft or not, he handled it. And in an era like this, you would expect to see somebody like Usyk or more Usyks. And you can't say the heavyweight division ain't soft. It is. You know, because at the same time, the people that he beat was a lot of people that y'all say really wasn't shit at the end of the day. Dubois, come on. Joshua, you know what y'all been saying about him. Fury was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Or not that good anyway. You know what I'm saying? So there was no real live, serious threat because Deontay Wilder had a very successful heavyweight career, being extremely limited, and he got very far in boxing. He got to the top of the pinnacle with that one right hand. All right. And the fact that it was a presence of somebody like a Wilder there, and he could do that, lets you know the state of the heavyweight division. But however, that is not a fighter's fault. Okay? He doesn't control who's born in his timeline. He can only deal with what is there. This is why you don't compare fighters of the past to fighters now, because fighting is the one sport that represents the time of man, of America, and where we're at in history. And at this point in history, men are as soft as we ever have been in the history of man. That's just a fact. So people can try to place Usyk here, place Usyk wherever they want him. To me, he is the best heavyweight fighter of his time. Y'all don't need to skip all these timelines. He don't need to be the best. And y'all got to stop doing that too. Let people be the best of the time when they fought. Same thing with the Sugar Ray and the Floyd. I'm not comparing somebody who fought 12 rounds to somebody who fought 15 and 20. I'm not. And for somebody who fought like 5 times in a month, for somebody who barely fight 2, I know I'm not comparing them to. That's not comparable. By far. But what y'all could do is appreciate them for the time that they have operated in. And in this time, Usyk is that deal. Now, are people going to try to weaponize it and stuff? I mean, you know how boxing fans are. Oh, he's going to be better than this person. He's going to be better than that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. None of these heavyweights that I see of today, I see beating Lennox Lewis. I'm just being real. Lennox Lewis would beat all these guys. For real. I'm not saying these guys wouldn't give him some trouble. I'm not saying they couldn't drop him. I'm not saying they couldn't hurt him. I'm just saying I don't see none of these guys truthfully beating Lennox. And that's me starting on the lenient stage. We're not getting into all the fight. Come on, man. Bruh, that was brutal times, man. They just don't make them like that no more. You know? But as far as an all-time great or something, to me, it doesn't matter. He's going to be in the history books with those guys. So, you know what I'm saying? What does it matter? But like I said, let's get back to comparison. If you're going to make a comparison, to me, it makes sense to compare him to Evander. And this is what I will say. if I'm comparing Usyk to Evander, I'm going to give the edge to Usyk because it's a 4-belt era. He did all this undefeated, not taking a loss. And the other biggest thing is, it is no secret that Evander Holyfield was on a lot of steroids. Was on a lot of steroids. That's a fact. Based off those things alone, I would have to say Usyk would take my pick. Just because of that, just because I know Evander was steroid to the gills, bro. That's no secret. That's just like him and Manny Pacquiao was two most well-known steroid-taking fighters in boxing. Since I don't know that about Usyk, and he hasn't had those hiccups and stuff like that, I automatically got to toss it to him. That's if I'm doing a comparison. But I'm not. What he did was great, and it needs to be duplicated. And that's all it needs to be at the end of the day. And he will go down for one of the greats. And this is going to be a hard thing for anybody to come up and copy. Because in this soft era, they'd have done it already. But hasn't nobody done it. So he made his mark. He's secure. There's nothing to go back and forth about. Usyk is set. Point blank, period. Seeing where he fits into this, we still haven't settled that with the guys of the past. That's a forever revolving door. Who was really the best and who was really this and who was really that. And the other thing is, the reason why Ali is off limits to everybody is not just because of what he represents. It's because nobody in the history of watching boxing has ever seen the best Ali. We seen him before his peak and after his peak has passed, but we never seen Ali during his peak. And that's a video that we're going to get into next. That's why this one is a perfect setup. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.